Hello, there's me and my co-instructor Austin. We were contracted by a company called Broadreach, and we took a bunch of students to Puerto Rico for a few weeks. It all started in La Parguera, where we did a bunch of scuba diving. The trip was scuba diving focused, but we did other activities like planting mangroves, going on kayaks, bioluminescence snorkeling. It was pretty amazing and fun time. And after their program finished, I got to explore the rest or some parts of Puerto Rico on my own. Here I came with Austin to crash boat Aguadilla. This was after the kids had left. We did some free diving and snorkeling. It was amazing clear water. And I could have sworn at one point I heard either whales or dolphins, and I think you can even hear it in the footage. But I can't actually be certain that that's what it was. Here we started going towards El Yunque. I was actually so surprised that the tropical rainforest was so close to the city. It was super cool to be there, very humid, lots of rain even. And it was a good time. Everything was so green and lush, and big contrast from sunny San Juan and rainy, cloudy Yunque. We actually got separated at one point. I can't remember. I think he went for a jog. He wanted to jog back, and we got lost one from another. Eventually we reunited, but it was definitely a bit sketchy in the moment, but we knew that we were gonna end up in the same parking lot. There was like two parking lots, one higher, one lower, and we kind of both knew where they were. Yeah, this is the moment where he started going, and that's how I didn't see him until we met back in the parking lot. pleasurable on a hike. What's not pleasurable on a hike? Here I was already on my own at Castillo San Felipe del Morro in Viejo San Juan. It was a massive fortress. It was very cool to see the waves. That was definitely my favorite part. Unridden waves all across this coast. It was quite shocking. I did want to go surfing at one point in between Viejo San Juan and I guess New San Juan. And I did see a couple of people surfing there, but my level at the time was way at the beginning, so obviously I wouldn't risk myself to go in unknown conditions. But I did go for a surf session at Rincon later on. Obviously the animals were a little bit more interesting to me than the history, and I'm noticing that my t-shirt says 2022, so it was actually not 2020, it was 2022. Wow, so much things happen in just a few years. I walked a lot on that trip, let me tell you. Most of my commuting was walking, and I did take Uber a few times, but walking was my main way of moving around, and I enjoyed it because you get to see a lot more by walking than taking a car, or I took some of those scooters sometimes that were everywhere, but not in Viejo San Juan. That was their limit, I believe. I also have this great luck of every time I go sightseeing someplace historical, it's always cloudy, so I very rarely have blue skies and sunny days. Well, here we go. Here we're just in regular San Juan. I think that was the cruise ship area, and a lot of art everywhere. I love this whole wall. It was all like mosaic. And of course, Tacoma Heaven #1 was Puerto Rico. That was my first Tacoma Heaven. Oh, here, this is where I saw a few people surfing. It looked pretty good, but it was far out. It was like a long paddle to get there. This is the beach. It reminded me of our Mexican beaches. White sand, crystal clear blue water. I loved it. It felt like I was home. This is just a reminder, this is just random footage that I have on my GoPro from that trip. There's no specific order or very detailed activities, as you may have already seen, but I needed to do something with this footage instead of hoarding it on my iCloud. Here I was walking towards my hostel, which was pretty crazy. That was the biggest hostel room I've ever been in. One afternoon in the very chill hostel. Is my corner. I have here my AC protection / privacy curtain. Keep my rain jacket out, and On my last nights, or my first nights on my own, I can't remember exactly, I used couch surfing, and this gentleman hosted me, and it was such a lucky experience. He had a daughter that she wasn't at home, she was studying or something, and this guy lived in a penthouse. I got to stay in his daughter's room for like 2 or 3 nights, I can't remember exactly, but wow, it was amazing. He was so nice, and I even met some of his friends. We went to dinner. What a good couchsurfing experience. And here I am in the water again, as usual, trying to find ways to go swimming. This is under the bridge when you go from downtown San Juan to the other side. I can't remember now exactly, but anyways, it was like a public beach. People were swimming, and I just got to go under the bridge a little bit. Just basic, some rocks, some fish, but what to do? You're near the water, you gotta go swimming. I obviously have a lot of scuba diving videos from the student trip that I've even edited and not posted, because technically it wasn't not my footage to post because I was contracted by the company, but I do have them somewhere still. Maybe I'll post them at some point. It was pretty great diving in Puerto Rico. I enjoyed it, and we even went scuba diving in Rincon, and it was quite surgy. Like, you had to go past some waves to go to the dive spot, but it was very nice. And here I am driving to Rincon, and that's where I went surfing and had a nice sunset, and that would conclude my 13-minute vlog here. Thank you.